By the end of this video, when we talk to our NPC and get a quest from him, thanks, I knew you'd help, that's what he said. When we go to our quest log, we can see we've got this new quest. Our inventory is currently empty, but if I go to our chest, grab a potion, you can see our progress goes up on our collect potions. We got 1 out of 5. We're also going to be adding in saving our quest progress. So when we reload our game, our NPC will remember that we're on this quest, and we don't have to pick it up all over again. We're going to be using scripts that we wrote in our previous videos, so I'll link the playlist below, or you can join our Patreon where you can grab every single script, or you can grab our template where you get the whole project set up for you, all finished features and future updates. But cool, if not, let's check it out. So we're going to want our quest to update when we pick up our items. Our items are stored in our inventory. On my game controller, I have my inventory script. So I'm going to double click on this to open it up. And in here, since our quest needs to know how many items we have in our inventory of a certain type, I'm going to create a dictionary of type int and int, which is going to be our items ID and then its count amount, which I'll call items count cache. And I'll set this to equals new. We're going to update this whenever our item amounts change inside our inventory. So we keep a synced track of our item count. Then to let our quest manager know when our items have changed, so we can update that in the UI, I'm going to create a public event action, which will have a red underline. So we'll hover over this, click show potential fixes, and add using system if you don't have that already. And I'm going to name this on inventory changed. So this will be an event which will notify our quest system or any other system that needs to know. I'll show you how to use this, but basically our quest controller is going to subscribe to this event, and whenever the inventory changes, we'll send a ping to our quest controller so it knows to do some updates. Now we're going to want to create a function that builds our items count cache. So I'll do this at the top and add a public void rebuild item counts. In here we'll go item count cache dot clear. So we clear out anything we've currently got, since we're going to rebuild it, and go for each transform slot transform, which is our inventory slot, in inventory panel dot transform. We want to get our slot, set this to equal our slot transform dot get component slot, so we can get the script, and then we'll check if our slot dot current item is not null. Then our item equals slot.currentItem.getComponent item. Then we'll say if our item is not null, lots of checks so nothing crashes. Our items count cache, we'll use square brackets to set the item.id as the key, and then set the value to equals items count cache.getValue or default, and pass in our item ID, then comma, and the default would be 0. Then plus item.quantity. So what we're doing here is adding this item's quantity to any existing value inside our cache. Because in our inventory, we can split our items out into different stacks, or they can be stacked in one slot. So say you had 1 in one slot and 1 in another. You'd want to add those two with the same ID into one single cached value for the item count. As if you've got 2 in your inventory, of course you want your quest to know that you've got 2 items here. So cool, and after caching our items, we can then go on inventory changed dot invoke. So we've told anything that's subscribed to this event that our inventory has been changed. Now so we can access this dictionary in a safe way, since our item cache we want to be private, so it can only be changed within this function. Let's go public dictionary int, and we'll name this get item counts. After your brackets for the parameters, do equals greater than or arrow function to simply return our items count cache. Now we'll be able to call this when we want to check our item counts for our quests. So we're going to want to call this rebuild item counts in a couple of places in our script. First at the top we can call it just when we start our game, as we may have started with items in our inventory loaded from our save file. Let's scroll on down and see what else we got. Cool, so of course when we add an item, every time we return true is where we've added an item. We're going to want to rebuild our item counts. So before we return true, we'll paste in rebuild item counts function. And this is if we have the same item type in our inventory, so it's stacking. So we're also going to want to do it when we don't have the same item type. We've added it to a new slot, and we want to rebuild our item counts before we return true. We don't want it before return false, since we're not adding this item as our inventory was full. If we scroll on down, we can also see we set our inventory items when we're loading our save data. Right down at the bottom of this function, after everything's been initialized, we can again call our rebuild item counts. And just before we close this down, I've actually made a mistake. If we scroll back up to our rebuild item counts, this on inventory changed, we only want this to invoke if this has been subscribed to and set to an event. So to check if this has been assigned to, all we have to do is put a question mark at the end of inventory changed before our .invoke. Phew, almost made some errors for us. Now before I get synced up with our quests, there's one more place we need to call our rebuild item counts from. Because not only when we pick up our items will we want this to rebuild the cache, but also when we drop our items, we're going to want to know that we've dropped one and our item count has gone down. So in my scripts folder, I have an ItemDragHandler script, which handles all our dragging and dropping of our items. If we double click on this and scroll on down to our drop item function, at the very bottom of here, when we've dropped our item, we can simply go inventory_controller.instance.rebuild item counts. So that's at the very end of our drop item function. When everything has been finished and dropped, we'll rebuild our item counts so we know we're one less down. So cool, that's all we need in this script. Back in Unity, we can now take a look on our game controller and add our quest controller, where we'll link this up with our inventory to check for quest items. So let's double click on our quest controller script. And first of all, we'll subscribe to that on inventory changed event so we can know when to update our quests. So let's go inventory controller.instance.on inventory changed and go plus equals. And here is where we'll input our function that will be triggered when our inventory is changed. So down below, I'm going to quickly write a public void check inventory for quests, and I'll copy this and paste it up after our plus equals. So when inventory controller triggers that on inventory changed, we're going to call this new function. So in this new function, we can go dictionary int, int for our item counts, which will equal our inventory controller instance.get item counts. So we can grab that cache and then go for each quest progress quest in our active quests, and then for each quest objective in our quest.objectives. So for every objective we have, we can now check if our quest objective .type is not equal to objective type.collect item. Then you can type continue, so that if our quest objective isn't to collect an item, we'll skip this objective and check the next one. Next, we can check if question mark for not int.tryPass quest objective.objective ID, then comma out int item ID, then we'll continue. So if our objective ID can't be passed out to an int, this will skip this objective as it won't be able to match with one of our integer item IDs. Now we know that's all safe to continue, so we can go int new amount. So the new amount we want to set our quest progress amount to, and by quest progress amount I mean, like, you know, we've got 4 out of 5 potions or something like that. We're setting the 4 out of the 5, which is the required amount. So our new amount will equal item counts dot try get value, pass in our item ID, and we'll pass out our int of our count. This try get value returns a bool. We can check if this is successful by doing a question mark and then passing out our count. However, if we have, say, 10 potions in our inventory, but we only require 5, we don't want it to say 10 out of 5. We want it to cap out at that 5 amount for the required. So instead of just writing count, we can go mathf.min, pass in our count, and then pass in our quest objective required amount. So this will display the lesser of the two. And then if we didn't find any items in our item count cache, we'll go :0, as there's none in there. Then we'll say if quest objective current amount is not the new amount, so it's not the same, we'll update our quest objective current amount to equals the new amount. And since this has changed, we want to update our quest UI, so we'll go quest_UI.update quest UI. So cool, that's all we need here. Let's go back to Unity and test it out. Aha, as I press play, you can see I've got this error down in my console, saying that an object reference is not set to an instance of an object. If I double click on this, we can see this takes us to the line where we're accessing our inventory controller.instance. This can happen if our quest controller is loading in before our inventory controller. So our inventory controller's instance hasn't been set up yet. To fix this, in Unity you can go to Edit, Project Settings, and then in this list go to Script Execution Order. You can see here we've set up a couple already, where we needed our item dictionary before our inventory controller and our inventory controller before our save controller. We're now going to want to make sure our inventory controller also loads before our quest controller. So on the plus, let's add our quest controller, which you can find in this list. And this should be fine just where it is, as our inventory controller is now above our quest controller. You can click apply on this, close it on down, and now we can press play and test this out. So right now I've got no quests in here. I'm going to talk to my old man. Can I help? Yes, I can. Thanks, I knew you'd help me. Okay, now we've got a quest in here. 5 potions and 2 heart potions. Let's go to my chest because I know that I've got some potions in here. I get 1 potion. Let's go to our quest. We've got 1 out of 5. Oh, our heart potions is set to 1 out of 2. I think I've set that quest up incorrectly. Let's go check. So on my quest scriptable object, yeah, I can see my objective ID is still 1 when our heart potions objective ID is 2. So that's why that broke. Okay, let's test that again. Go to my potions, got my potion. There you go, 1 out of 5 and 0 out of 2. Let's check our dropping. So drop our item, check our quest. We got 0 out of 5. There's our potion on the floor. Pick it back up. Quest 1 out of 5. Very cool. Our quest progress is all working. Now I do have another problem though. If I press save here and then close down my game, when I open it back up and check my quest log, my quests are gone. He's saying, can I help? I already said yes before. I've got a potion in my inventory, but my quest says 0 progress. Okay, we need to fix some things. I missed a little bit in our quest script, and also we need to add this to our save controller. So first let's go to that QuestController script again, and don't worry, it's an easy fix. When we accept a quest, we're going to want to check our inventory for any quest items. So just before we update the quest UI, I'm going to call check inventory for quests. And that's all we need to fix that little bug, but now we want to get saving. So back in Unity, on my game controller, I have my save controller script. Let's double click on this. And in here you can see where we save our game. I'm going to want to add saving our active quests into our save data. To get to this save data class, you can hold down Control and click on save data here, which will snap you to our save data script. So in here, I'm going to duplicate this list of chest save data. I'll change this to be our quest progress data, and it's going to be a list of quest progress. Cool, we can go back to our save controller. And in here, it's very easy. We just want to go comma, quest progress data equals QuestController.instance.active quests. Now to load our game, we're going to need a nice load quest progress function in our QuestController script. So back to our QuestController, let's scroll down the bottom and add a public void load quest progress. In the parameters, we'll have a list of quest progress, which I'll call saved quests. Then we'll go active quests, which is our list in the top, equals saved quests, question mark, new. So what this does is either loads in our saved quests, or if we don't have any saved quests in our data and this is null, we'll just set it to a new empty list. Then we can call our check inventory for quests again, in case we've loaded some quests in and we have items for it in our inventory slots, and then go quest UI.update quest UI. Cool, that's a nice little function there for loading our quest progress. Let's go to our save controller, and I'll just do this at the bottom here, where we'll say QuestController.instance.load quest progress and pass in our save data.quest progress data. Very cool, and guess what? We're all done. Let's go to Unity and test it out. If we press play, so cool, right now our quest log is empty, but I do have a potion in our inventory from our chest that we opened. Let's talk to our NPC. Can you help? Yes, I can. Thanks, I knew you'd help. Okay, cool. So we've got our quest in here. It has updated to know that we've got that 1 potion now. Very cool. Let's go to our settings and press save. Close this down, then press play again. And now if we open up our menu, we can check our quest log and see that our quest is still here, as well as our potion, and as well as the progress. If we talk to our NPC, good luck finding those potions. He knows that we've got the quest. Ah, it's all working. Amazing. So I need 5 potions and 2 heart potions. Okay, I've added these in to our game. If we pick these all up, our quest should be complete. How exciting. Let's go to our old man and try and hand this in. Good luck finding those potions. What? But old man, I've got the potions. Look, right here in my inventory. Yeah, so that's our next video. We're going to be adding in completing our quest. If there's anything you're missing in our scripts and in our game so far, you can always go to our Patreon, support the channel and get every single script I've ever written, or you can check out our whole top-down template with all finished features and future updates for free to download right now. So check it out. If not, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!